Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to Morning Tea with me, Tracy V. Allen, host of Morning Tea. Morning Tea is a show to motivate, inspire, and educate you first thing in the morning so you can go forth and have a productive day. This morning I have with me Dr. Ranelli A. Williams. She is a certified public accountant, a CPA, like most of us know it's called, and she's also a profit strategist. Dr. Ranelli, thank you for being here this morning with us because wealth building in our community is an essential step for us to move from the stage that we are now into the stages that we want to be in. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you so much for having me this morning, this early morning, Tracy. Like Tracy said, I am Dr. Ranelli Williams, and I'm a certified public accountant. I grew up on the island of Montserrat. And Tracy, you're from Montserrat as well, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Originally,
yes. So I grew up there, was, moved to the United States as a teenager 30 plus years ago. And in search of, what most call the American dream, right? And for my family, that was get a good education, get a good job, and just secure your retirement. And so, and, I did exactly that. I went to school, got an associate degree, got an accounting degree, my bachelor's, got an MBA, but what got me into, where I am today is, well, I started off in corporate America, doing accounting. And, but let me talk to you a little bit about what happened to me in my college days.
Okay.
Semester on campus, all these banks lined up, right, in the in the lobby of the school, beckoning you over, come over, apply for the credit cards. And so I fell for it. It. Yeah. And, applied for the credit cards, got accepted, got approved. And that was the start of my journey into debt. That was the start of my journey into debt. And so, we'll talk a little bit about that later. But that is what, motivates me to do a lot of what I do outside of my accounting work, because I know what it is to be making a lot of money, right? I remember I got the education, I got the good job, right? But still be living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, I have that same college story. Like credit cards were a mile a minute. There, you could all you had to do was sign your name and you had a credit card, $500, $1,000. And at that point in time, even though I had financial education from my mom and I knew that I should not be spending the money that way, it was so easy to just swipe. Exactly. And before you know it, you're $5,000 in debt. You're $10,000 in debt and you're making money, but you still have other bills to pay, your student loan, your light, your cable, and the credit card kind of becomes the thing that doesn't really need to get paid right now because you're probably using it to help you circumvent or supplement some of your other bills. So
this was me. The one thing I did do, pay my bill, right? But it was the minimum. So, yeah, it was the minimum. So I convinced myself that I could afford it because I'm not behind on my bills.
Right, you're paying $25 a month. That's enough.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I was happy though that those credit cards didn't initially ruin my credit. My credit got ruined later on, but those initial credit cards did not initially ruin my credit because
the habits that you develop over
time. Yes, it's the habits. And it turned me into a shopaholic later in life with more dangerous credit cards that had $10,000 limits on them.
There you go.
So I can relate. And I know a lot of people out here can relate as well, because I think bad credit is what is keeping us stuck. Definitely. So you went to corporate America. you did the traditional thing. And I really want to get back later on to you getting an associate degree, because I think that that can tie into what we're talking about here today. But we'll talk about that a little bit. But remind me to get back to the associate degree
Okay.
part. So you went to corporate America, you got the regular traditional corporate job, making your money, doing your thing. What then propelled you into my brother? What then propelled you into deciding to become an entrepreneur? Because America is a safe and secure place.
Right. So I spent over 20 years in corporate America, various positions. One of the things that, so I told you I went the associate degree, the bachelor's, the MBA, right? And didn't consider, being a CPA. But I got bored, the position I was in. And so I started looking for another position, and realized that a lot of the jobs that attracted me, the MBA was great. They also wanted someone who was a certified public accountant. And so I halted my my search, decided to take a review course and do the exam. That took me about a year and a half. It's a really rigorous exam. And so, spent my evenings after work, in my mom's basement, just studying and finally eventually passed the exam. And that led me into public accounting, because once you pass the exam, you're not officially licensed until you have auditing experience, which I didn't have. I went into public accounting to get the audit experience, worked for Deloitte for about a little under 3 years. The auditing experience, got my license, and then that led me into internal audit work. I went to work for, a private company doing internal audit, and did that for about 9 years. Of my 10th year, there was a lot of unrest going on, within the company and the economy, and the company was sold to another organization who felt that a lot of us we worked in New Jersey, that, our salaries were just too high. So they started either cutting salaries or just letting people go. And so I watched my colleagues, get laid off for about a 3-year period. In the meantime, my husband had started our tax business, right? So when we started, it was strictly taxes.
So your husband is a public accountant too?
He's not a CPA, but he is our tax professional. He has a master's in tax. Yeah. And
the income-bearing family.
And so he had started that. And so I knew that I wanted to, go the route of entrepreneurship. My father is an entrepreneur. He was a pharmacist by trade, but eventually started a bakery back on the island of Montserrat, still operational today. And so it was planted in my head, and I knew I wanted it. And even as I was watching my colleagues go, I knew that eventually I would jump into entrepreneurship. The one thing that I didn't do was prepare properly, right? Having that period, I should have prepared about, bad money habits. Because you are an accountant doesn't mean that you manage your personal finances the way you should, right? And I'm just being transparent. And so, I found myself eventually, I thought I was not going to be laid off, to be honest with you. I thought I would have the opportunity to leave when I was ready because of the job I had, managing a $100 million portfolio. And it was, like 2 salaries dealing with that whole division. So I'm like, okay, what's my mere $100,000+ to, this $100 million?
Right.
But they had other things in mind. And so one day I got the call. I got the call. I was working from home a lot, which was great. I got the call and it was scheduled on my calendar. And I said, Eric, I think this is it. Eric's my husband. I think sure enough, yeah. So that was December of 2014. 2014, they kept me on payroll until January, and then I was let go with severance.
Okay.
So at that point, I knew I was not going back to look for a full-time position. And so I just jumped into the business. We added bookkeeping to our portfolio and then grew from there into CFO services. But that's how I was pretty much pushed into entrepreneurship full-time.
Okay. And I mean, it happens that way sometimes. And I think one of the things that you said that was so interesting is that you saw for 3 years your colleagues get laid off.
Yeah.
And you knew that the bug was stirring within you to, leave, but you actually still thought to yourself, okay, I would be able to leave on my own terms, and didn't prepare yourself to leave.
It's the security of a job that we allow to, muddle our thinking, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the money was good. I was working from home. It was, it was cushy. It was cushy.
Yeah, that's funny because I think it happens to so many people. They can see the writing on the wall, but they're still so secure in getting that paycheck every 2 weeks that they're like, okay, maybe they'll hold me on for another 6 months. I got another 6 months to prepare, or maybe another year, I have another year to prepare. And then before you know it, you're on the unemployment line going, oh my God, I should have done what I needed to do to make sure that I had a smooth transition into what I really want to do.
Yeah, so that just needs to be a lesson to anyone who is thinking entrepreneurship, and you're in that job that you need to secure, set some funds aside. Businesses require money to grow. And so important that you set those funds aside for sure.
Yeah. And get yourself a coach or a consultant if you're not exactly sure of the steps. The amateur mistakes that you make cost you way more money than it does to pay someone who knows the steps to getting to where you need to get to.
Tell me about it.
Cheaper, right? To build that foundation correctly than to try to repair the foundation. If you ever build a house or know what a concrete foundation looks like, and if it cracks, man, that's a lot of money. It's the same thing over here with your business. If that foundation has a crack in it, it's going to cost you a ton of money to repair.
For sure.
So because this is about legacy building, I want to get back to what we're talking about before. When you talked about going and getting your associate degree first. So I've been having a lot because my daughter is 15 and she's in college, right? And so a lot of people keep asking me, like, where are you sending her to college? I'm like, online, right? And they're like, oh, why not a traditional college? First of all, she's 15. I'm not putting my 15-year-old on the college campus. Are you kidding me? Right? And I said, second of all, I have $150,000 in student loans. $160,000. Lord have mercy, right? That's a house. That's a mortgage, right? $600 a month in payments. So I don't intend for my kids to come out of college with that type of a loan. And some of it is my fault because it was just mismanagement of the financial aid money and just being
get the extra and spend the extra, right?
Right? So I mean, I'm upset about it, but ownership
it's lessons learned. Yeah.
So I don't intend for my kids to come out of college with that type of a burden on them. Luckily, even with that burden, I've been able to progress and advance and gain things in this world, but it's not that case for a lot of people. So one of the things I decided to do was have her take some online classes and probably get her associate degree first, and then her bachelor's. And when I try to explain it to people, they don't get it. And I'm like, it's cheaper to take the core classes, English, math, science, social studies, history, the humanities on an associate in a community college or a community college setting than going to a 4-year college and spending $400 a credit for some classes that you can probably get at the community college for $100 and something per credit.
You are absolutely doing the right thing. Let me tell you, people, put too much weight on these college names. And, you know, it all depends. When you go for a job, right? When you go for the regular traditional job, they want to know that you have that degree, not necessarily where you got it from. And so there is no need to spend the extra money, start out, you know, do the first 2 years in traditional, you know, in the associate, you know, do an associate degree. There's nothing wrong with that. And spend the money when you have to spend it. You know, yeah.
I think that's part of legacy building, and a lot of people like frown their noses up at community colleges. I'm like, it's the same English class, it's the same math class that you're going to spend 3 times or 4 times the amount, depending on where your child is going to college, for that exact same class. It does not make a logical sense.
It doesn't. You know? I had a friend whose daughter wanted to leave home. She wanted to go away. And, you know, she worked for a university. Her daughter can get a free education. And you want to go where? Honestly, go stay on campus.
Yes.
You know, go stay on campus, you know? And so, yeah, I was very vocal about it. I'm sorry. I'm just passionate. I know what it is to be in debt unnecessarily. I know is to be, you know, to be making money and you want to do things, but you have these bills, you know, as a yoke around your neck. We don't want our children to go through that. And, you know, just a resource for your audience, anyone who has children that they're thinking of sending to school, there's a book called Debt-Free Degree.
Debt-Free Degree.
Debt-Free Degree, yeah. And it gives a lot of tips, you know, and strategies as to how to send your kids to, you know, to college debt-free. And it is, you know, a lot of it is not a magic wand. A lot of it is you planning ahead and making right decisions.
Right. Because education is important as it is, like you said, can be a rope around your neck. Because when you have $160,000 in student loans, that's no joke. I know people who are doctors who have $1 million in student loans. Like, when are you actually going to pay that off? And then you wonder why your doctor's bills are so high, because these doctors,
they got to pay. Yeah, you're paying for their student loans. That's right.
You're paying for their student loans. So if you could get your child to college, it's not like Dr. Ranelli said, it's not about, did your child go to Yale, Harvard, you know, or any of these prestigious colleges, is whether they went to college, they learned what they're supposed to learn, and they can get a job from what they have learned. Because I know, and I'm sure you've come across some people who have bachelor's, master's, and PhDs, and you're like, you had a PhD in that? And you don't know this? So getting the degree, it doesn't matter where they get it from. If they didn't absorb the information and can now apply the information, it doesn't make a difference.
Exactly.
Think about that. And this is college season, so this was a good conversation to have. So you have a 7-step program. Let's talk about your 7-step program.
Yes. So I have a book that's being released. I'm pushing it back to August, being released in August. It's called Wealthy Habits. And each letter in wealthy, you know, I have described them. So the first step is W, which is wire your mindset for success. Because mindset is key. And any successful person, whether you're an entrepreneur or success with your finances or with your marriage or whatever it is, you have got to first, you know, make your mind right. It's determination that I'm going to be successful in this area. It takes work, right? And so it's important that you definitely practice some healthy mindset habits. And what I was going to say is that 80% is mindset, 20% knowledge. You can have as much information as possible, right? And if you don't implement that, you know, that information, you're not going to the success.
Yeah.
And so it's important that we practice some, some wealthy habits in terms of our mindset. I love, what you do in terms of getting up this morning. It was a struggle for me to get up at 6 a.m. because I'm usually like working in the wee hours of the night. I've been trying to flip that around. So that I'm going to bed a little earlier and getting up a little earlier. But whatever your routine is, it's just important that you fill your mind with the right stuff, information, continue to be growing, read a lot, implement what you read, you read, practice affirmations, tell yourself positive things, because a lot of times we subconsciously tell ourselves things, like, I can't afford, for example, not that we're going to go splurge, right? But, that is such a negative thing. Like people just, especially in entrepreneurship, right? I'm talking about entrepreneurs right now. I can't afford, and we remain stuck as opposed to figuring out, you're an entrepreneur, for crying out loud, figure out
how you can get it.
What do I need to do? If it's something that's going to propel you as an individual professionally and your business.
Right. Can I just piggyback on that before you move on to the E? I always tell entrepreneurs, if you're saying you can't afford it and you're staying stuck in that mindset of I can't afford it, how can you now expect that someone is going to look at your product and your services and say that they can afford it?
Right.
What you put out for yourself is what you're going to get back in return.
Absolutely.
So you have to change your own mindset in order to acquire wealth. Because you're putting out that poor mindset, oh, I can't afford this, so I can't get this, and I can't get that, then that is what you're going to get back in return. You're going to get a bunch of clients or potential clients coming to you going, oh, I can't afford it right now. And you're wondering like, well, it's not that expensive. Why can't you afford it? Because you keep saying you can't afford someone else's products and services. So
yeah. And so moving on to the E is establish your destination. Right. So you have to know where it is you're going. What is it that you want to accomplish? If we're talking about personal finances, what do you see for yourself down the road, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, retirement, legacy, what do you want to leave behind? So we have to be, vision casting and just figuring out what it is that we want to accomplish in our lives, financially and or otherwise. And write it down, right? The Bible says, write it down and make it plain. And so it's important that we do that. That's the E. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, definitely.
So the A is assess your current financial situation, right? We're talking wealthy habits. Assess where it is that you are today. If you are going on a trip, your GPS requires what? Not only where you're going, right, which is the destination we spoke about, but it needs your current destination in order to map out your route, right? So the same thing with your finances. You need to, figure out where it is that you are today financially. And a lot of people don't like to look at that because sometimes it doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
It's important to know I have X amount of debt. My credit is this number and needs repairing. I don't have anything set aside for retirement. You need to be clear on that. These are the things, I have to work on, which takes me to the L. You got to list out your goals. And so once you've determined where you are, then now you know what needs fixing. So those are now your goals that you have to list out. Then the T, so for some people, they remain stuck because they have no idea. The mountain just looks so high. And so they just sit at the bottom and don't start climbing. Right. And that's where the T come in, is to target your priorities. You got to prioritize, have to strategize and figure out, what am I going to work on first? And essential for me to tackle first. And so you got to prioritize and take it one step at a time, but you have to step, right? Martin Luther says that you don't wait to see the full staircase, right? Just take that first step And when you take the next, you're gonna, you're just gonna start. You're gonna be climbing until you get to the top, until you reach your destination. So that's our T. The H is, once you've written all that down, now I know what my goals are. Now I know what I'm gonna tackle first. Hit the ground running. Take action. That's H. Hit the ground running and put it into effect. Start working, start doing what you need to do. And the Y is just yes. Every step of the way, tell yourself every accomplishment everything that you accomplish, say, yes, I did it, and celebrate. Celebrate each step of the way, right? That's what's going to propel you to continue to move forward, and never forget to give back is what I add there as well. So that's what
I like that. I like how you took the word wealthy and you broke it down into different components of what people should be doing to gain wealth. So how does gaining wealth lead to legacy? Because today's session is called legacy building. And that's one of the things I read in your bio constantly is about legacy building.
Leaving the legacy.
So tell us how all of this comes together to build a legacy that we can leave behind.
Yeah, so legacy, of course, is more than just money, right? But money is a big part of it. One of the things, legacy for me is that my kids do not grow up and get into debt like I did, right? Another is I want to be able to pass on these wealthy habits on to them so that they don't make the same mistakes that I make. I want to grow a successful business so that I can pass it on to them. They can decide, I want to run it and, have that be their income generation, or want to sell it and get their income from it. But giving them options. So legacy is, is when you are gone, what are you leaving behind, right? We have a certain time on this earth. What do we want to be known for? And I want to be known for the person that helps as many people as possible to be debt free, right? And to have options, because that's what, money is all about and wealth is all about. It's options.
Options, yeah.
People, one of the negative beliefs that we have is that money is evil, right? Money is the root of all evil. It's not money that's the root of all evil. It's the love of money. Money gives you options. Money gives you options to not only have your family in a better situation, right, financially, but you can help so many people. You can give back. And so, that's me for legacy. I want to help as many people as possible in their personal finances, in their business finances. And I want my family, I want my children not to repeat the things that, that I personally did.
That sums it up right there. That's building legacies. Not always just about money. Money, yes, is a component of it, but it's the things that you leave behind mentally and emotionally embedded in the people that you get in contact with.
Yes.
I like to say we all strive for, well, not all, but most people strive for immortality, right? There's somebody always looking at, how can I become immortal? How can I live forever? Well, the way you live forever is to leave a legacy behind. The people constantly talk about you and the things that you have done from generation to generation to generation. And that's immortality all into itself. At least that's my philosophy.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So if you had to leave our audience with 3 tips, whether it's about their personal finance or it's about, they go together, about leaving a legacy behind, what are the things that you would tell them right now to take action and move forward?
Yeah, I would definitely say to dream, right? Dream big, and don't stifle your dreams either. Recognize that your dreams are God telling you that this is where I want to take you. Right? This is the journey I want to take you on. And the second thing is to take action. Too many people sit on their gifts, right? Sit on, information that they have, take action. Take action. You don't want regrets. You want to, to leave behind a legacy, and that, desire that requires action. And then the last thing I want to say is, I have to talk about wealthy habits, is develop and implement these wealthy habits in your life, because it's not only going to, it's going to be a trickle effect on the people around you, your family, the people you were meant to serve. Because if we have knowledge, it's important that we share that knowledge. So as you learn and you implement, just go ahead and share it. And that's what's going to make the world a better place.
Okay. Is your book available for pre-order?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
Not quite yet. I'm getting ready to do that. I'm updating my personal website, and so it will be on there. My website being ranellywilliams.com.
Right.
So it will be there in a couple of weeks for pre-order.
Okay. So again, if you want to get in contact with Dr. Ranelli A. Williams, she's a certified public accountant and a profit strategist. You can go to Ranelli, and I'm going to spell it out because my podcasters need to know the spelling, Ranelli Williams, spelled the regular way, .com. So it's Ranelli Williams, RANELLI Williams.com, and you can go there to get in contact with her. If you're having some problems with your finances, you're not exactly sure how to structure a plan around getting out of debt and leaving that legacy behind that we all need to leave behind for our children, our nieces, our nephews, whomever, then you need to get in contact with Dr. Ranelli Williams today. Okay. So go on over to her website, have a chat. Do you have a free 15-minute discovery or something that they can
I do. So people can also connect with me in my group, the Profitable Entrepreneurs Network. And
that's on Facebook.
That's on Facebook.
Okay.
It's free Facebook community, Profitable Entrepreneurs Network. And so you can connect with me there. My link for a free consultation is a bit long. It is www.letsmeet. So that's letsmeet.io/Ranelli Williams /consultation.
Okay, I was gonna type it in, but that's a long way to type it right now. But okay, so you have that. You can go ahead to her Facebook group, sign up for her Facebook group. It's free of charge. I'm sure there's a lot of people in there talking about different strategies that they have used to help get out of debt. You can ask her a question in there. You can contact her on her website. But we all need to get our finances together. And the best way to do that is to contact a professional, someone who has been through the trenches and has come out on top and can guide you through the process. Because without good personal finances, you're always going to be stuck in the place that you're in. Currently. Yeah. So, Dr. Ranelli, thank you for getting up with me at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Now I can get some work done early.
Right.
Everyone else gets up.
It might be a new habit that you employ.
Right.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me for Morning Tea.
Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome. And I will see you again another day. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.